Hi, welcome to my channel, and today we will be reviewing Invest 95L. Alrighty, so today there has been a bunch of news going around that Invest 95L is going to die. And that is true, but at the same time not true, because there's still a possibility that this storm will survive and turn into a tropical storm Danny. Like any other storm. It can never be crossed out until it is officially dead. Alrighty, so this is the storm, as you can tell. It started off a couple hours ago here, very disorganized, and then as they went on, it got a little bit more organized, as if it was trying to close itself off. So this is a sign of it strengthening, but the shear and the Sahara dust, which I'll show you later, it's probably going to weaken it in the next coming hours or days. Okay. So if you go back to this model, this is the GFS run. I only want to see the next couple of days, so because that is going to determine what will happen. Alrighty. So if you look at the next couple of days, the GFS run this Saturday, so this is one day, is showing that it is there's something in there. There is some cyclonic activity, from you can tell from the reds. But it's very disorganized, and it's such a broad system that cannot get itself together. This shows it being even more disorganized. And then by Monday, it's still there, but it's just really disorganized, and it's just messed up, and there's nothing. But as you can tell, there is some activity going on behind it, because it's the wave that's coming off. And this also shows some strengthening as well. So we still have to keep a watch on it, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. If we look at the European model, you can see it's a very broad area. It's around the same thing, but the European model shows it actually strengthening in like 24 hours, probably to like a tropical storm or depression, because this shows a closed low. And then it weakening, and then it dying out. And then you can see it's this part, and then going there, and actually gain some strength. So this will probably be the tropical storm, and then go into the Caribbean, lose some strength, and then ultimately just die off. Alrighty. Here, in this model, you can clearly see that a bunch of models don't support it that much. This is the one that we're looking at right now. As you click through it, you can see that a bunch of models, they say support it here, and then the one behind it. But then as the days progress, the models lose their focus on it. But the ones that they are targeting is the one behind it. And then it shows up like around here. Then it goes towards the Gulf. It's forecasting that both of them will go towards the Gulf. But it is still too far out to say, because it could really change to go into a fish storm, or go into Florida, or go to the Gulf, or just go straight. Right now, we just have to see between what 95L does, if it goes straight west, or if it goes northwestern. Because if it goes just straight west, it might be able to survive the shear and the dry air, and then it'll have to curve up here. But the weather is not that favorable right now. As you can tell here, this is 95L. This is the whole circulation. It's very disorganized, and it's up here. For a hurricane to be a hurricane, the low and the level of circulation must be together. The level of circulation there's multiple in this area. So for it to become a storm, this would have to close off, and this would have to be aligned with this. They're not that far apart. So if this were to close off, it would probably become tropical depression or tropical storm Danny. But it will most likely not become a hurricane or affect anyone other than just rainfall, due to the fact of the shear and dry air. As you can tell in this picture, this is 95L and this is the dry air in front of it. This is going to just basically melt the storm, because it's just going to eat up on all the moisture and it's not going to be able to get it. As well, the ocean above it, that's why it's bad if it goes northwestern. It's cold right now. It's not above average because it's not that time of the season yet. So it's not favorable for some weather to occur. Alright, here you can tell what I was saying earlier, that here's the low and then here's the circulations. Right now there's two, so it's not that bad because earlier there was a couple. There's one over here. We see how they're all over the place. That shows how disorganized this system is. So if we were to go back here, you can tell that it's trying to close off itself, and it might close off and it might become a depression. But it is still very unlikely, because if you go to 90 over here, you can see that not many models want it to form. They all say it's going to go up, and in 40 hours it's going to die. Same thing with the GPS models. They just everywhere. They're basically saying that they don't believe in it, and then the other models show it going up into a fish storm probably. I don't know what happens after here, or going straight. It's very iffy between everything. This is the intensity model. Many actually show it becoming a tropical storm, and 2 show it becoming a category 1. But after 5 days, it's not accurate. You can tell how separate these models are. You can tell how they all widen. Because after 5 days, the models don't become that accurate anymore. So, for 95L, we just have to keep a watch on it, and it really depends on the track that it goes, but it most likely will not affect any land. The National Hurricane Center has given this storm a 10% chance to form in the next 2 days and a 20% chance to form in the next 5 days. Alrighty. So the next storm that we're going to talk about is ENRIQUE. It's Tropical Storm ENRIQUE. This storm is looking very healthy, and it has very tall clouds, as you can tell. The tall clouds is the grays and the purples and the pinks. If it's pink, that means it's a very tall cloud and it's a very strong storm. It has a very good, wide, broad area of circulation. It just, like I said, the low and circulation has to combine to become a hurricane. The National Hurricane Center is forecasting that this storm will become a hurricane by 1 p.m. Saturday. So in less than 24 hours, it will form into a hurricane. But this should not, it will bring rain and winds towards Mexico, and it might bring rain and winds toward California, but it will most likely not be that bad. It will for sure not be intense hurricane that's going to be landfall. As you can tell here, this is the spaghetti models. There are barely any that show it hitting California. They're all over the place after here, so we just have to keep watching it. Really close watch on it, but they all agree that it is going to strengthen. It just really depends, like I said, on what happens. These actually show that it's either going to curve out or go straight, so California does have to watch out just in case it does hit them. Many models are agreeing that it will become a category 1, and some are agreeing to become a category 2. None agree category 3, so that's good news. But you guys should still prepare for the worst just in case something happens last second. But ENRIQUE is looking very healthy, and it probably will become a hurricane in less than 24 hours, as you can tell from the area of circulation and how the winds, how the bands are forming up here. And that means that it's healthy. If you look to 95L, you can see that this is getting hit by dry air because of how these bands look. These bands look like this because of the dry air. And if you look here, the blacks and the whites are how tall the clouds are. This is why this has not been ruled out yet. because of how tall the clouds are, but the storm has to go higher in altitude. It's 5 degrees too low to go into the Caribbean, and if it does not strengthen and go higher, that's another reason for its death. As you can see here, it is trying to close up, and if it does close up, it might become a stronger storm. This is the visible high res. As you can tell before it exits that the storm is strengthening. This is another short wave. You can tell it's trying to strengthen. And this is the water vapor. You can tell from here, this is the Sahara Desert, that it's trying so hard, but the water vapor is just killing it. And this is the wave coming off Africa that we'll be able to talk about in the next coming of weeks. If we look at Tropical Storm ENRIQUE and then we do the water vapor, this is a healthy storm. It has a really good circulation. Meanwhile, 95L does not. But for now, we just have to keep watch and see what happens in the next coming updates, because this is very important. Because if something happens and a miracle happens and 95L forms, it could potentially be a threat to the Gulf or Florida or the East Coast. So we have to watch out for 95L, and California and Mexico has to watch out for ENRIQUE, because it will bring rain, it will bring winds. But if it strengthens and hits California, that will be horrible. Alrighty. But to leave it off, the National Hurricane Center brings it off into being a hurricane, but goes out to sea. And multiple models show 95L becoming something like a depression, but it dying out in the next 24 hours. Dying out, no. But depression in the next 24 hours, yes. I would say that with this storm, any information older or newer than 24 hours, it's not reliable. Keep it within the hour, because this storm is changing a lot, mostly because of how outside it is. So we don't really have that many tools to see what's going on. Once it gets in the Caribbean or closer, we'll have a better understanding of what's going on. And with the wave behind it, it's still too early to talk about it, because things have changed really fast. Because there's a trough here, and a high that's steering it this way, and that's causing all the shear and the Sahara Desert. It's just a mixture of the cold water and all that's just killing out the storm. If this were to back up and the dry air wasn't there and the water just got hotter, this will most likely survive and cause a threat to here. But this will most likely just cause rain. If it does hit something, maybe some wind, but it will not be a category 3 or higher hurricane. Probably will not be category 1, but we'll just have to see. Alrighty. Until next time, see you later.